What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Arena. Today, we're going to go through a quick mock draft. Our thoughts on the draft. We're exactly about 2 months out. Super excited for it. This one is going to be without trades, and then we'll do one with trades later. And then we'll have Conrad back on. We'll talk about the current events and everything like that. It should be a great episode. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get started. We're going to be alternating picks. I'm going to be odds because I'm a Giants fan and they have the third pick. He's going to be evens because he's an Eagles fan and they have some godforsaken pick. Um,
We have the
so
best pick in the draft, Noah.
I don't know about all that, but we'll be
Listen, best
doing
pick.
that. So to get started with the Tennessee Titans, with the first overall pick, I'll be taking Cam Ward, quarterback Miami.
Solid pick. I mean, you are picking first overall, so you're not going to get in that position again, but I respect it. I mean, I wouldn't have gone Cam Ward. I would have gone Abdul Carter,
Okay.
which leads into the second overall pick with the Cleveland Browns. I'm going Abdul Carter. I mean, they're about to lose Myles Garrett. I think that the perfect Myles Garrett replacement is going to be Abdul Carter.
What's up? I am a big fan of the move. I will say I see them more as a Travis Hunter team than an Abdul Carter team.
So I respect it, but I think Abdul Carter just like build up that defensive line, take the best player available, and I love Travis Hunter, but I think Abdul Carter is the best player in this draft, and I think it just makes so just have the best two edges if Garrett stays, and if he doesn't stay, well fuck, I have his replacement.
That's 100% completely fair. Also, think this edge rusher class is so deep that you can get really good talented players later. And also,
That's
I
fair.
don't think I don't think a guy like Travis Hunter will come around very often, which is why with the third overall pick, the New York Giants select Travis Hunter. I think
Okay.
I think we're going to get Matthew Stafford or Russell Wilson, and we're not going to take a quarterback this year.
I respect that. I do think that Dable is kind of desperate. Dable and Steichen, not Steichen, but you know what I mean, are a little desperate. So I wouldn't be shocked if they take quarterback. In a lot of my drafts, I haven't taken quarterback, but I actually do think you will end up with one of the QBs. So I think this makes a lot of sense with Hunter. So let's moving on to the New England Patriots. It's kind of a chalk pick, but Will Campbell, you need to protect. You need to protect our guy. Drake May, you can find a receiver. This is a very deep receiving class too. I'm taking Will Campbell, the best tackle or guard off the board, and it's not even close.
Wow, okay, that's a little bit of a shocker. I love the rationale behind it. Kind of makes sense with McMillan falling as well. I do think that one of the two defensive players are at number four. They'll take them for sure. But I get your rationale. I like it. With the fifth overall pick, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking Mason Graham, defensive lineman, Michigan.
Another chalk pick. Love the pick. I have him. I have in every single mock draft. I have Mason Graham going to the Jags. I love it. Another move they could do is offensive line because they desperately need the offensive line. They need a lot of help, but I love the Mason Graham pick, especially for the Jaguars. Raiders, kind of basic. I could see them getting a quarterback, but I think if he's on the board, especially with his connection with Tom Brady, Shador Sanders. I mean, I think it's such a good pick right there.
Mhm.
Tom Brady and Shador Sanders, they already have that built-in relationship. You need the quarterback, but I will like to say, sneaky Genty team. I could see them taking Genty. That offensive line isn't that bad. They have the weapons. You could theoretically they could take Genty.
Hey, I don't know about Genty. I could see it with Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly there, but I just don't see it. With the seventh overall pick, though, I have the New York Jets taking, and this may be a surprise, Jahdae Barron, cornerback, Texas.
Wow. Okay. I don't have him nearly that high at all. Corner is a respectable position. I think they take a corner. I have them taking defensive line. That defensive line kind of sucked. I actually had him taking a for my most recent draft, defensive tackle Kenneth Graham or whatever his name is. But Johnny Barrett, what do you like about him?
Okay. Easily the best corner in the draft, one of the most versatile players in the draft.
Not
Um,
the best corner. I think I prefer that guy from Michigan.
oh, okay. Tackling issues, injuries.
Injuries, you can deal with injuries. Also, but dude, he's so freaking fast, man. And
No,
plus, Michigan is. develop
I
really good corners.
I
I
love
like
Will
him.
Johnson. I think he's going to be great. I think Jade Brown is very similar to Brian Branch in Detroit.
That's true.
And
That's true.
seeing how awesome Brian Branch has been, I don't think teams pass up on that. Also, for
That's
the
fair, but
Jets,
he's a nickel though.
they need it. They have sauce on the outside. They're gonna lose DJ Reed, but now you
That's
have
fair.
you have a do everything. You have a do it all corner, which I think they really need.
That's fair. Okay, so with this pick right here, now I think in hindsight, this pick can change a lot. They are going defense. I think they could go offense. But I think we're gonna go do something fun today. The Panthers aren't going to be able to afford any of the best wide receivers. I don't think. We're going T Mac, Teterow McMillan. I think you give Bryce Young some weapons. I think it's a different move. Realistically, I don't think they go receiver. I think they go edge or they go corner, especially if Will Johnson's still on the board or like a Mike Green or a Jalen Walker is still there. But I think in this draft we're just trying to have fun, and I do think since T Higgins is off the free agency market, I think he's going to resign with the Bengals. Why not go Teterow McMillan?
I love this pick. I love this pick so much. I think you've seen what Bryce Young can do now. Right now, he
Exactly.
has Xavier Legette and the corpse of Adam Thielen.
Exactly.
No
Adam
offense,
Thielen's cooking, man.
still had a good season, right?
You did.
But you get him T Mac on one side, Legette on the other side, and then Thielen still is a slot guy until you figure out someone better. I will say the one thing, Legette and T Mac would be guys that are more jump ball guys, don't get the best
Hmm.
separation, which is a little concerning, which is why I can see them I can see them going receiver and going Luther Burden or
I
Matt
was just
Golden
about to say.
instead. I could see that being a better fit for that offense. And I do think there's credence to the fact that T Mac might fall,
I do.
but
I think
I
so as
love the
well.
fit. I love the fit.
I'm going to give you a bit of a draft hot take. I think Luther Burns is going to be the first receiver off the board. I think T Mac is good, but I don't think jump ball receivers go top 10. I think Luther Burns will probably be the first receiver off the board. I loved him. I'm a big SEC fan, big Aggie fan. I love watching him play in Mizzou. Dude is a phenomenal
Yep.
player.
I love him. I can definitely see that. I've seen mock drafts. I think it was Daniel Jeremiah that had T Mac going in the 20s.
So I I personally think his floor, and a lot of draft experts agree with me on this, but Tampa Bay. I think if Tampa Bay, Ham and Mike Evans, they're both two jump ball receivers, but I think why not draft Mike Evans' replacement when you have the opportunity, right? Because
Oh,
he's not going to
100.
last that much longer in the league.
I mean, hey, he can keep going as long as he wants to. I can definitely see that. I don't know, dog. I don't see Tampa going receiver. I see Tampa going O line or tight end. A tight end is an intriguing option for them.
That's an intriguing option. But I mean, I think linebacker. But who do you got for the Saints? I think another interesting person who I am not a big fan of, by the way. I mean, since we're quiet, I mean, just another kind of draft hot take. James Pierce. I think he falls out of the first round. I think the character concerns. I don't give a shit about that. He's undersized. He's not that big.
Yeah.
He is underweight. I love Tennessee. I'm an A&M fan, but Tennessee is my favorite team in the SEC East, right? But James Pierce just did not do very well this year. Dude was supposed to be the number one overall pick this time last year. I mean, phenomenal. Yeah,
Really?
he was. James Pierce had a huge amount of hype behind him.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, for sure. I still think I think a team like Baltimore takes chances on these guys, and I think they might do that. That's what I kind of see happening. I think like a team like Baltimore, Detroit will take a chance on him. But moving on to the Saints with the ninth overall pick, Jalen Walker, linebacker, edge rusher, Georgia.
Love that pick. Love that pick. You see, that's who I think Carolina will ultimately take. Phenomenal player. I think he's gonna have a phenomenal combine, and dude is just a stand-up guy as well. Great pick here. They need the help on the edge too. I mean, that defensive line's not getting any younger. Plus, I just great pick, man. Just great overall pick. Now Chicago. This is an interesting case right here because they need a whole bunch of shit. Obviously, I'm doing the same thing I did with the Patriots earlier, though. We're going Kelvin Banks Jr., tackle or guard, Texas. I think that Kelvin Banks Jr. can be switched inside to guard. I mean, a lot of these tackles can be kind of a shorter arm length, and I think it won't be that big of an issue. Now, another player I could see Chicago taking here is Mizzou's what's his name? Uh,
Armand
Armand and
Memba.
yep, I could see the Bears taking him right there. I think that kid is fucking phenomenal. He is fucking quickly climbing my draft boards. I mean, even if he isn't a tackle, because he's a little undersized, but he's a phenomenal tackle at Mizzou. I think you move him at guard, and you have probably the best guard prospect in this draft class.
One
Well,
hundred
one
percent,
second best, second best.
100% agree with you, dude. I love Armand. Also, sick ass name.
Dude, great name.
I also really like the pick for Chicago. Could see them as a GNT team, but
Could see them
I
as a
really,
Dynasty team.
I really like that pick for Chicago. Okay, the Niners are an interesting team because they would ideally go offensive line, but it's a little early for Josh Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know what? We just talked about him. Give me Armand Membao for the San Francisco
Solid
49ers.
pick. You see, that is a great pick right there. You see, in this situation, in my head, when I'm going for the Niners, you're not going to get in this position anytime soon, right? I usually have them going Will Johnson because I think you get that premium corner because they're going to lose. They're going to probably lose Chardavius Ward as well. So you get a position that you probably won't get for a while that's going to be more expensive. Get your corner or get your edge. Another position I could see them going here, Mike Green. I think Mike Green could be a very interesting prospect coming up. All right, Dallas Cowboys, most basic pick in the whole draft. Ashton Gently. We don't need to say anything more. They need a running back. Need a running back. I don't think Genty is the best.
I,
I think he's the
I
best
just
running back, but I think he's a little overrated.
um, you just said Ashton Gently, by the way. Just like to put that out to you. But
I did.
I like for going back to the Niners real quick. I I think he's a perfect pick. He's so young. He can even sit behind Trent and learn for a hot second. Let him
Exactly.
develop into his body. He's probably going to get bigger and more muscular. Is a word. Look it up. But I just love that pick for them. For the Cowboys and Ashton Gianti, I think they go Luther Burden here if both are up.
So I also could definitely see them going Luther Burden. I mean, get that elite number two behind CD. I think Jerry's a basic bitch though, and just wants the most flashy player, and I think that's Ashton Janty. Um, I mean, do you need a running back all that badly? Yes, but that's not your number one need. Plus, there's so many others in the second round. But this is Jerry Jones we're talking about, and he's stupid. So I have him going Ashton Janty.
Awesome. I like it. Jerry Jones is, in fact, a massive basic bitch. Um, for the Dolphins, I think another intriguing team that could do a lot. I can definitely see them going, you know, legitimately any position on offense out of running back and quarterback, almost all positions on defense as well. I think they're going to be a super interesting team come draft day, but I have them going Walter Nolan, defensive lineman, Ole Miss.
Ooh, I love Walter Nolan. I watched a lot of him at A&M. Dude is a baller. I think he's going to start climbing draft boards. Like I personally think he's going to be the number two defensive tackle going into this draft. I mean, dude is freaking phenomenal. And I usually have the Dolphins going offensive line. I mean, they just give Tua as much protection as you can, but Dolphins are one of those teams where I can't really pin down a position they need all that well. They just kind of need everything. So just sort of best player available, and I think that Walter Nolan right there is a perfect move. So with the 14th pick in this draft, the Indianapolis Colts. Now, another move I think is fairly chalk, but I think it's a good move. Tyler Warren. I
Dude,
mean, Anthony Richardson
dude,
needs that big target.
I love that pick because, like, if we think about it, yes, Anthony Richardson had a bad second season. There's off
Hmm.
the field concerns. He literally took himself off because he was tired a lot. But I still think there's talent there. But if you look at
Oh yeah,
Pittman, Josh Downs, Alex Pierce, you don't have like your reliable go-to guy. And
Exactly.
Adonai Mitchell is going to be a great NFL player, in my opinion. He has all the skills, but they were just off for some reason almost the entire season. And I think Kyler Moore just gives you your go-to safety blanket. It's like what Eli Manning had in Jeremy Shockey. It's
E-
what Jalen Hurts has in Dallas Goedert. It's what Brock Purdy had in George Kittle. Get your tight end, get your quarterback that safety blanket at tight end.
Exactly. And I think that plus this also he's going to be a phenomenal blocker in the league too. I think this is not an extra offensive lineman, but he's a fucking phenomenal blocker at Penn State. I think that this is a phenomenal move. I think give AR all the help he can give. Kind of like a few years ago with Jalen Hurts, where it was like, listen, we gave you AJ Brown, we gave you all these pieces. Now, if you don't succeed, well, we have the team around you that can succeed with someone else.
Exactly. No, dude, it's phenomenal. Okay. Now, with the number 15 pick in the NFL draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Oliver Carr's brother, Jahad Campbell, linebacker, Alabama.
Okay, brother Noah. Listen here. I want you to explain this pick to me. I don't see it.
Okay, I think he's the best three down backer in the draft. I
Mhm.
think the Atlanta Falcons have a lot of needs, but if you look at their team, they got um they got that edge rusher that they drafted, Arnold Ekabady from Penn State. They have decent youth on at the edge. They have AJ Terrell at corner. They got Jesse Bates at safety. They do not have that linebacker. And if we look at the Rams defenses, they've kind of always had a versatile do-it-all linebacker, like the white guy right now, Troy Reader, I think his name is. I don't know, but that's kind of like what they like in their backers. And
Yeah.
Raheem Morris from that system, I think they learned their lesson from going quarterback last year. They need to add bodies to that defense that are good, and I think Jahad Campbell gives you a three down linebacker for 10 years.
That's a respectful take. I it's basic, but I always have them going edge. I mean, they worst team of worst team in the NFL getting after the quarterback. I think you need all the help you can get. I would have had him going Mike Green here personally. I mean, just in my opinion, the best, well, second best edge in this class. Huge Mike Green fan. Which brings me to the Arizona Cardinals, which I have them taking Mike Green. Get that elite edge that you need. I mean, that's why Gannon, I can't remember his first name, basically has a job in the NFL right now is because you had that elite defensive line in Philly that led the league in sacks in 2022. Get yourself a Hassan Reddick, and that is Mike Green. Mike Green, also ridiculously young player, still got a lot of stuff to learn, but I think Josh Gannon is kind of the perfect coach to teach him up.
Jonathan,
Jonathan Gannon.
it's okay. I really like that pick. I can see it happening. Maybe another edge rusher. I'm not as high on Mike Green. There's some other edge rushers that haven't gone yet that I think go before him. Like
Mhm.
I think Michael Williams is going to be. I don't think he's going to fall this far.
I don't think so either. I think a lot of these players won't fall, but I think we both have different drafts.
Oh, 100%. But with the Cincinnati Bengals and pick number 17, I have them going. A guy that, once again, I do not think will fall this far, but if he is on the board, the Bengals will draft him in a heartbeat. Luther Burden the third.
Okay, that's an interesting pick right there. I explain it to me.
Okay. T. Higgins or Trey Hendrickson. One of those people is not going to be on the Bengals.
Yes.
They're just not. Okay. And I think that they're more likely to keep Trey Hendrickson because the defense is already so bad. And I
Hmm.
think that Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase, Andre Yoshiwash, who's been pretty good, not Jermaine Merton, he's getting cut. But, he's been able to cook. I don't think he needs two like top 15 wide receivers to do that. But so I think they let Higgins walk. I think they draft
Hmm.
Burden if he's on the board. It's best player available. B, yes, they need offensive line help. I think it's a little too early for Tyler Booker. And I just think that Luther Burden fits that offense so well. Luther Burden would be elite. Joe really hasn't had like that fast receiver.
Yeah.
And I think he would give him that. That would be super exciting to me.
I you see, I go honestly, I would have gone Will Johnson. I think they are so shitty at defense that I think you just go best defensive player available, and I think I have Will Johnson at that position right now. I just go any defensive position, realistically. I do agree with you. I think they are more likely to keep Trey Hendricks than T. Higgins. But I see what you did, but I personally go defense. Now that brings me to Seattle, and as you mentioned earlier, a little early for Tyler Booker, not a little early for him anymore. I think he's going to Seattle. You had one of the most god awful interior offensive lines in football. Go get yourself the best guard in this class. As well as that, I think he's going to fly up draft boards. Dude is a baller. I think he's going to have a really good combine week this week, and I think we're going to see him just go higher and higher and higher.
Love that
And
pick. There's only one fault with it.
what?
John Schneider has literally said that he doesn't value interior offensive linemen. So I don't
Yep.
think that he starts doing it now. I think they address that position in free agency in the later rounds.
You see, that is also what I heard, but I'm sorry, I'm not John Schneider. I'm Oliver, and I don't want to be an idiot, and I want to take what my team desperately needs.
I fucking respect it. I fully
Uh,
agree with you on that one. With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 19,
mhm.
another guy that's definitely not fallen to 19, at least I don't think so. Will Johnson, cornerback, Michigan. We've been talking about him. I think it makes a lot of sense for Tampa at 19. They have guys like Christian Izien starting at quarterback at corner. You don't want that ever. And I just think it makes so much sense for them.
Exactly. If Will Johnson falls to Tampa Bay, you are just the happiest person on earth if you are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, that is just such a phenomenal luck right there. Dude is a baller. Tampa desperately needs corner, and I just think it's a phenomenal move for them. And now with Denver Broncos, I'm gonna go a little bit out of left field. I don't know how left field it is, but I'm going with Colston Loveland out of Michigan. I think the same reason with Anthony Richardson. I think you get Bo Nix, that tight end that you can go over the field, over the middle of the field with, just someone to help your life out with. You don't have a lot of great receivers. This could be a Matthew Golden pick. This could be that guy from Ohio State. I just go tight end. I think tight end is a
Okay.
just
I
very
gotta
good position
interrupt you
here.
right there. There's no way that's out of left field. I think everybody and their mother has done a tight end to Denver. No offense.
Exactly.
It's a phenomenal pick though, exactly for the reason that you laid out. It makes so much sense. Now for the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21, this could be the Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart team, depending on how they do at the combine. They could draft, a receiver as well. But but I have them going Michael Williams, edge from Georgia. Once again,
Phenomenal.
best player available strategy. He is a phenomenal football player. TJ Watt isn't getting any younger. Okay, your
Nope.
team probably is not going to contend with TJ Watt still in his prime. So there's a really good chance that he asks for a trade so he can go win somewhere, right?
Mhm.
And then if that happens, you still have Alex Highsmith and you have Michael Williams as your core.
Exactly. And I just I think it's a good move for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's one of those teams I just have no clue how to draft for. I could see them going receiver, but Mike Tomlin doesn't like to go receiver very much. Quarterback, terrible quarterback class. I don't think they want to make the same mistake as they made with Kenny Pickett. I think if Michael Williams is on the board right there, I think that's such an obvious pick. Pair him up with TJ Watt, have the best defensive line in football. Or you already basically do have make that defensive line even better.
Yep,
Another
exactly. I can
position
all.
I could
Oh, I'm
another
sorry to
position I
interrupt.
could see them going is offensive line. Just make Justin Fields' life a little easier. Why not?
I mean, I don't think Justin's going to be there. Also, they invest like half of their picks for offensive linemen last year,
Oh, they
and a
did.
lot of them got hurt, but they looked good.
Okay,
So I can see them going defense. I could also see them going Kenneth Grant to get like the Cam Hayward guy.
I could see that as well. Now with the Chargers are one of those other teams I just have no clue who to pick. I mean, obviously you need a receiver and you just need a bunch of positions. So I'm gonna give him that receiver. I'm gonna give him Matthew Gold. I think you get a really fast dude, pair him with Lad McConkey. I think that's gonna be just a really fun tandem. Justin Herbert, just a guy who's never really had someone super fast who can burn you down the field. I mean, he's had that Mike Williams,
Exactly.
he's had Keenan Allen, but I think Matthew Golden would be a very interesting pick here for the Chargers.
Oh, that would be a phenomenal pick. Very different skill styles to McConkey, which would be phenomenal. I see them as the T team in the offseason personally.
I can see
Um,
that.
but I still love that pick. At 23 for the Packers. Sorry, I would have given more analysis about the Chargers pick. I'm just so excited about this one. Shamar
Mhm.
Stewart to the Green Bay Packers.
I love Shamar Stewart. I am as an Aggie fan, I think he is so fucking good. I think both of these Aggie edge linemen are going to be so phenomenal. Shamar Stewart is young as shit. He is going to develop into his body. He's going to develop into his form. He is raw talent, but him going to Green Bay is such a good move because he's gonna have his teammate Edgerrin Cooper from 2 years ago that was a team captain for A&M. This is such a good pick. I love this pick so much.
Thank you, thank you. It just works out perfectly.
It does. And for me, I mean, just for Minnesota Vikings, I had chalk pick. Kenneth Graham, you need interior defensive line. You couldn't stop the run in that playoff game. You have someone to stop Aaron, have someone to stop Josh Jacobs, have someone to stop Jameer Gibbs. Kenneth Graham's a solid pick right there.
Dude, 100%. I fucking love that pick. I think Kenneth Grant makes so much sense for the Vikings. Also, with a guy like, Brian Flores running that, he's
Mhm.
gonna want guys like Kenneth Grant. I love that pick. At 25 for
Exactly.
the Texans, I think this is another interesting team, but I think they go get Amika. Reunite CJ
I
Stroud with his Ohio State guy. Because they've tried guys at like wide receiver too. They've tried to take some big swings with Stephon Diggs. That was okay. He got hurt. He was having a decent season. Tank Dell is so good, but he keeps getting hurt in like the worst ways. And I feel so
was thinking
bad
of
for the
Tank Dell.
guy, right? And
Yeah,
then Nico Collins is phenomenal. But I think pairing Emike Egbuka with CJ Stroud again is gonna just create some awesome, awesome, awesome situations for that offense. And with new leadership on the offense now, I think they'll cook even harder.
I agree. I see personally, I could also see them going interior offensive line. A guy like Gary Gable set Zabel. Dude's a baller. I mean, I can't pronounce his name to save my life right now. I mean, dude was probably the best tackle at the whatever the hell that bowl is called, the Senior Bowl. Dude's a baller.
Hmm.
I mean, I do love that pick though. Just get yourself a number two receiver for CJ Stroud, make his life easier. Deep class and offensive line too, so you don't feel that bad for not going
Hmm.
offensive line.
I also think maybe if they can make the money work, maybe they're the Trey Smith team.
I could see them being the Trey Smith team. I mean, they need that interior offensive line desperately. I mean, you need to protect CJ Stroud.
Hmm.
I I mean, I think either or, you can't go wrong with it. Now for the Los
Yep.
Angeles Rams, another team I usually have no clue who to pick for. I think it's just kind of chalk, but fuck it. Give me Josh Simmons. You need a
Love it.
tackle. Get yourself a tackle. I mean, Stafford got sacked how many times in the Eagles playoff game?
Hmm.
Josh Simmons is
No,
probably the
I
best tackle on
I
the
don't
board.
think Stafford's the quarterback, but I
I
agree.
don't think so either, but Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, I don't know.
Nah, Aaron, even worse.
Sam Darnold.
Nah, Sam Darnold in the offense would be so scary. This is a tangent that we can talk about in March with free agency. But Sam Darnold, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to work during free agency. But Sam Darnold would be so good on the Rams because it would be even better coaching than Minnesota with a
Mhm.
better running game, which I think would take his game up another level. But
Dude,
that's a
I think
tangent.
that's such a
I
good move.
love the pick. I love the pick. I think it makes just so much sense for them. We teased this a little in the beginning. I literally said I always do this. I'm sorry. What did you want to say?
I would like to say the Ravens, I do have a specific player that I love going for the Ravens. We did go over this in the beginning earlier. Now make your pick for the Ravens. I'm just curious. I have a different pick, I think, for them.
James Pierce Jr.
That's who I thought you were going. For me, Malachi Starks.
Nah,
I
they
think
got Kyle.
they need corner. They need corner. No, you move Kyle Hamilton to the nickel. You have Starks play corner. You have Starks play safety. I think that's a Ravens move. I mean,
I
because
don't know. I
that
think
cornerback class in Baltimore is fucking ass, man.
nah, Nate Wiggins is good. And then you got Marlon.
Marlon sucks.
No,
Dude, they're not very good. Dude, that secondary in Baltimore was pretty bad last year.
Marlon was hurt for most of the year. Nate Wiggins also got hurt, so they had to play a bunch of nobodies. I can see him going corner, but at the same time, I think they'd love themselves a good developmental edge rusher.
I respect it. I mean, they need an edge. I'm
Dude,
I'm excited
Kyle
about
Van
the move.
Noy still led them in sacks last year, and was at least like producing. And Kyle Van
That's
Noy is
so
still
sad.
cooking, and he's funny as hell, and he went to BYU, so I love the man. But dog, they need edge help. I
They
Okay, I'm sorry, but like if you don't pick the guy who I think you should for the Detroit, we're gonna have a conversation.
okay. Detroit is another one of those teams that I have no clue who to pick for usually. They need a lot. I think realistically though, I think you go defense. And I think, unfortunately, as much as I want the Eagles to grab him, I think you go Nick Scorton. I think that's a solid Detroit
Ooh.
move right there. You need another edge. I think Scorton is the better of the two A&M rushers. I think Nick Scorton is such a fucking baller, dude. I think people are giving him a lot of flack, but I genuinely think he's going to overperform all the mock drafts and everything. I think he's going to be probably one of the best rushers coming out of this class.
I really like that pick. My guy for them is usually Jack Sawyer because he's a big
Okay,
white.
that was my number two. It was my number two. Same
Okay,
reason.
sick.
Dan Campbell pick. Jack Sawyer.
Exactly. But I like it. I think, yeah, Detroit definitely makes that pick for sure. For Washington, the Commanders with pick 29, I have them going. Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong tab. I have them going with none other than Malachi Starks.
Good pick. They desperately need help in that secondary, and I think Malachi Starks is the best player in that secondary. Best player you can add. I think that's just a great pick overall. Now with Buffalo, how do you beat the Kansas City Chiefs? That's the only reason they should be drafting. No other thoughts. How do we beat Kansas City? Do you know how you
Edge.
beat Kansas City? Edge. You gotta beat the shit out of them with the edge. Who is the best edge player currently? There's not many great edge players. I mean, not many great edge players at all. But hey, there's a defensive lot. There's a defensive tackle that you need. Give me Derek Harmon.
Hey, there's a lot of good edge rushers left. Donovan Nazaruku is still up there.
Yeah, I
Have
don't
you
know.
seen his
I'm not
sack
too.
numbers?
Listen, I think they go. I think they go with whatever they can get on the defensive line, and it does not matter. You figure that out later.
Fair, fair. Okay, I'm gonna make maybe controversial pick here.
Oh fuck, who are you taking?
With the 31st overall pick in the draft, I see the Kansas City Chiefs selecting Travion Henderson,
Oh my
running
god,
back, Ohio State.
really?
Yup. They drafted a running back from the team that won the national championship a couple years ago. And while that did not work out,
Hmm.
however, I think Travion Anderson fits their skill set perfectly. We saw how good he was in the national championship. I think he would be a difference maker for them.
Uh, dude, great. Gary Zybel is still on the board.
I think they fixed the line in free agency.
I don't think they fixed the line of free agency, bro. They are in cap hell right now, and they have so many free agents they need to re-sign. I don't think so. I mean, I like you can wait till the second round to grab him, I think, or like at least trade back up or trade down or something. I wouldn't have made that move. It's a bold move to make. It gives Patrick a lot more help, but
It is a Chiefs move, though.
it is a Chiefs move. Yeah, you're not wrong. Well, with the Eagles, Philadelphia, my team, Super Bowl champions, I think you draft. Now, there's a few positions we could go. We are going to need an edge. I think we're losing Sweat. I think we're also going to probably end up losing my guy, Milton Williams. Those are very, very deep this year's edge and defensive tackle. I think you go best player available, and I think that is Gary Zybel.
It's a great Zebul.
I don't care. Listen, dude's a baller. You can move him to guard. You can move him to tackle. I think it's that Lane Johnson replacement you need for the future eventually, or even that Mekhi Becton replacement you need if we don't re-sign him. I think it's a good move for Philly.
I like it. I like it a lot. I just don't how he doesn't draft offensive linemen since the Andre Dillard incident.
That's a fair point.
Dog, wait, this is a real question. It has to do with
Yeah.
the draft, but kind of, transition. Do you
Mhm.
think Trump shows up to the draft?
No, I don't think he does. Trump's not a big football fan like that, I don't think. I think he likes the sport, but I don't think he shows up.
Nah, because it's a swing state. He's gonna have eyes on him,
Yeah, but
and
he's not for re-election though.
who knows?
I don't think he does.
The House passed a budget framework that would slash billions in Medicaid. Good.
I
Fuck
saw.
them.
Yep, and congratulations, Republicans. You just fucked yourself in the next couple of years.
Yup. It is. Dude, okay. Just like talking to people, they're like, I don't, I'm just like confused as to how those people are genuinely feeling. Because if you go, talk to a couple people on the ground right now, they're like, most of them are so checked out from everything. So I'm just wondering how you track what the national sentiment is for real and not what garbage we get fed from the national media.
I know I see your point, and I think that's the unfortunate truth is that me, you, Conrad, all of us, we're political freaks and political junkies. We're way more checked in than everyone else. I don't think most people care or really know what's going on with Doge. And the fact is, if you're watching this or you're watching us or just any of this stuff, even having the conversation right now means you are more politically in tune or politically in check than the average American. And it's unfortunate, but people get a lot of their news from their algorithms.
Oh, 100%, dude. It sucks because it's like they don't see like the clear and obvious like fascist turn that this country's taken.
I
Like
think, yeah,
I have not tried. I've been trying not to fearmonger and doom scroll as much, right? But at the same time, it's like them doing the we're gonna pick the press pool.
Mhm.
Them doing the email, which Elon then tried to play off as a joke. Um, right? All of this stuff is just like a pure cold-blooded government takeover. It is a coup. This is not what you voted for. This is not who you elected. Elon Musk is calling the shots. And there's millions and millions of people who get this and understand what's happening and are unhappy with it. But at the same time, they're like, they don't know how to stop it. And then we have billions of millions of people that just do not know and do not care what is happening in front of their eyes while they go about doing their jobs, their two jobs, three jobs, taking care of their kids, just making sure that they're scraping by every single day.
Mhm.
They don't get to see it. Like I know there's a post that's been going around that's like, why do Americans just not strike? And it's like most people, if they go without a day or two of work, they will lose their insurance.
Yep,
And I think we as Americans have just been conditioned to glorify the people with money, to glorify the people in power. And I think we have to realize it for the money and power grab that it is away from us. Like
it is,
there's
and
there's no there's no possible society that can call itself a first world society where 45% of the wealth is controlled by like 30 people.
exactly. I think you're 100% correct. By the way, how you doing, Conrad?
I'm good, man. Sorry, I'm a little late. My apologies.
Oh,
How you
You're
feeling, dude?
good.
dude, you're fine. Feeling better. I'm definitely first day. I don't feel like actual shit. Turns out I had pneumonia, not the flu. Um, not
We'll
fun,
do it.
but yeah, we're feeling a little bit better. Actually, speaking of the devil, Noah, give me like 2 seconds. I'm going to take my inhale.
Good. I Yeah, no, it was really funny. I was watching the news in my supporter housing and it was on the MSNBC and they were talking about how like this flu has been giving a lot of kids pneumonia. And literally I'm like, hey Oliver, did you see what the doctor tell you had? And Oliver's like, I'm going to see the doctor right now. And then like an hour later, he's like, yep, I have pneumonia.
Dude, the flu is like really, really bad.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. And I don't know what did you see that bird flu is endemic in cows right now?
Yeah. And
Like,
then, dude, so we have the bird flu, we have the regular flu. Tuberculosis was spreading in Middle America. Then you have the measles outbreak in Texas. And on top of that, apparently 3 kids were patient zero in the Congo because they ate a bat and contracted a disease with like a 15% mortality rate.
oh
So
wow.
there's 52 people dead with that in the Congo.
That's my
Wow.
username. I saw I got my username.
Hey, I
Unfortunately.
mean, Oliver is still I eat bats on all socials. Go follow him.
Yep. That is kind of exactly how I got my username. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, during it was like 10th grade year, we went to some seminar about how diseases spread. This is before COVID too, and the whole thing was about Zika virus, but they also talked a lot about Ebola. And patient zero of Ebola was a Liberian child who was about 3 years old who ate a bat. A lot of diseases are spread and just kind of like reappear from bats. So don't eat bats. That's a
Yeah,
big thing.
just as a
Uh,
general PSA to the world, don't eat bats.
that's where I got the name. I eat bats.
That's so funny.
It's
But
really fucked up.
yeah, just open forum, guys. Whatever. I know it's been a lot. We haven't recorded a podcast in like 2 weeks too, because I moved halfway across the country. But what is like top of mind for you guys on everything happening in our world right now?
Um, oh, I'm sorry, Conrad.
No, go ahead, man. Oh,
I'm
like
just thinking.
100% you got it.
I'm just thinking about that budget that literally just passed like 2 minutes ago. I mean, just like the Medicaid cuts is how much that's just going to affect the average American, and it's crazy to think about how important Medicaid is to this country, and how much of a fucking shit show Republicans just caused cutting it. Like, if you want to point to a moment that the Republicans will lose the Senate, the House, or anything like that, you point to this moment right here and say, why are you cutting Medicaid? That is the most one of, if not the most popular things in America is Medicaid and Medicare.
How did they end up with the votes for that?
Just party line, it looked like. I mean, I don't know. And that's the thing that just pisses me off with Democratic leadership is just Hakeem Jeffries, man. He is not a good leader. And I'm not scared to say that. I mean, he doesn't know how to like get the caucus to fight. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's unfortunate, but I don't like Nancy Pelosi either. But kind of thank God that she's still around because she's the only one who knows how to fucking fight. I mean, Jeffries is not. None of the members have spoken or at least been on major public interviews or done anything to fight Trump. And if I'm Hakeem Jeffries, I'm screaming at all my members, oppose Trump. Do anything you can to oppose Trump. I don't know.
I think Jasmine Crockett should be the next uh Dems leader in the House.
I love her. I don't even. I think it should be like a Jamie. I don't know much about leadership. You need someone popular. You need someone who can whip votes. I love Jasmine Crockett. I unfortunately don't think it'll be her. I do think she'll get leadership though one day. Maybe not for a while, but she'll get leadership.
Dude,
Texas
because like
Democrat, she's not going to win anything, unfortunately. I mean, we're until Cuban runs, we're not winning. We're not winning shit in Texas. I mean, I don't know, but we Democrats just we don't have that fight in us. It seems like right now, and I don't blame people for not wanting to fight right now because it's a shitty time. Donald Trump's president. Elon Musk is also president. I mean, but you got to keep going. You got to keep fighting. You got to tell these House members, these senators, look, we may have lost, but the fight isn't over. We got to keep going. We got to keep pushing.
Do you think part of this is, what is it, in the art of war? Like when your enemy is making a mistake, you don't interrupt them. And it's
It
just, It's
I
just letting them mess up.
See, I if that were the case, you'd still have to go out there. Because what not showing up and not talking to people lets Donald Trump do is it lets him control the narrative, something he's already so good at. And I think if you want to just let him be an idiot and run this country into the ground after 249 years of hard fucking work, if you want to do that, you also got to go out onto the airwaves, control the narrative, and let the American people know exactly what's happening. It means that as soon as on a Friday night news dump, they fire all the top military officials and lawyers in this country that are employed by the national government, and the lawyers determine whether a presidential military orders are legal or not. So now there's no lawyers to stop it if Donald Trump says, "Okay, National Army, let's go attack New York City." There's no one to stop it now. And you do
Yep.
that on a Friday night, and there's no Democrat that's opening their mouth to talk about it. We learn it from guys on the internet like Aaron Parnas and Harry and Dean.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, just everything is so message tested. They're so scared to go off message, and it's like, dude, that's where Trump thrives, being off message. People don't want the message tested idea. They want to hear what you genuinely think. And I think as Democrats, that kills me that we are so scared to get off of message and so scared to just speak our own thoughts and feelings. But going back to what Conrad said, and I I see your point where it's like if your enemy is going to kill himself, let them do it. Don't stop them, right? But at the same time, yeah, let them kill themselves. But if they're going to do it either way, might as well go on the news and just say, they're cutting Medicaid, right? You know, so when so many Americans are going to lose their health insurance, just kind of just yell it at the top of your lungs, saying Republicans are taking away your health insurance because they want to give tax cuts to the billionaires. Just something like that, I think.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. I think like the biggest thing on the top of my mind, and I think Noah, you alluded to this, is we are seeing right now control of the military, control of the press. Um, it's kind of a very scary time watching maybe not what's like front and center with what's going on with Doge, but what's going on. Like for example, I may be wrong, but didn't the Attorney General get on and say basically, hey, we're gonna institute this gun control law recently?
I don't know actually. They're doing
I
gun
might have
control?
to send you it.
I think what the DC Attorney General did is he retweeted something or tweeted something that was basically like the Justice Department and the president aren't separate.
Mm,
And then Roger Stone had written a letter to Trump that basically said, "Don't let enemies of the state buy guns," meaning don't let liberals buy guns because they're scared little bitches.
And it's funny how the Republicans and the right are so pro Second Amendment until liberals start buying guns. I'm a liberal. I own a gun. I am for a Democrat. I am very pro Second Amendment. I'm going to say it right now. I That's the one kind of thing I differ from the Democrats. I live in Texas. I think guns should be harder to get, but I think you should be able to ultimately be able to own said gun, right? And it's sad that they're so hypocritical about it. Like, oh, Obama's gonna take my guns. Oh, Biden's gonna take my guns, right? Well, Trump is literally gonna try to take my gun. So, and you're not saying shit about it. It's crazy.
It's
that kind of
just
scares me.
it's so annoying that Republicans since Reagan have been so self-serving, and Fox News and the brainwashing of the masses has just allowed it to not no one recognized it.
Hmm.
Oh, I mean, look at we just like rewrite history whenever we want to now.
Yep.
With Ukraine, they're just like, oh yeah, Ukraine was they were in the instigator. Like, how dare they get invaded? And I'm just kind of like, hey man, like that's something like we should all be able to agree with. Borders, right? We like our borders. If you don't have borders, you don't have a country. So, like, why is one sovereign nation violating the borders of another sovereign nation?
It's
It's just
disgusting.
crazy. I try to explain it like this. If Ohio came over to Erie, Pennsylvania, like we would be pissed. We'd want to fight for like to be a part of PA. I don't want to be a part of Ohio. Like it's ridiculous.
No,
Absolutely ridiculous.
That
exactly.
is ridiculous.
It's just, and it's once again, most of America is so fucking stupid that they don't even understand that people are literally rewriting history in front of their eyes. Like,
I'm sorry. I wouldn't say stupid. I would kind of say just not paying attention, not even ignorant, because I think people want to know more. I just think that they don't give a shit. And right now they're like, as we mentioned earlier, right now they're just kind of, hey, I'm focusing on my job right now. I don't care what Trump's doing. It's a damn shame, but I think that's how the average American is. They're just kind of blind.
I feel like too, there's this unwillingness to sacrifice for the greater good because of our built-in individualism. And
Yep,
it's become politically untenable to say like, hey, um, maybe not everybody can benefit from this, but if the vast majority do, like you will benefit by proxy.
exactly. I,
100%. And it's just like with something like USAID, no one's gonna bother to realize that USAID helps keep so many farmers in business in this country, right? No one's ever gonna take the 30 seconds to go learn that fact about USAID, that it's literally aiding the US and aiding everybody else with what they're helping the US with. It is one of the best run programs that we have in government. Going as to even firing all the national park rangers. That is
and
just a complete affront to everything that this country stands for. And I will die on a hill saying that us leaving Ukraine out to dry and coddling to the Russians like this is going to be the stupidest, most egregious, most devastating foreign policy move in United States history.
yep,
Agreed.
100%.
Agreed.
And and even like fuck, how our lifelong enemies are Russia. Every single piece of media, it's America versus Russia. Call of Duty, fucking Mighty Ducks, shit like that. It's always America versus Russia, right? How the fuck are we teaming up with Russia against our allies? I do not get it. And by the way, going back to cutting USAID, Consumer Protection Bureau as well. That is the most popular fucking government agency. It is literally there to protect the consumer. And Donald Trump and Elon Musk said, "Oh fuck you! It's going after our billionaire friends, so we're going to cut it." Why are Democrats yelling about this? I don't get it. They know this is popular. People don't like getting taken advantage of. People don't like when big banks charge you a $35 fee because I went $5 over my overdraft limit. But Democrats have not said a fucking thing about it.
It's just despicable.
It is. It is. And I I, I don't get it. I personally do not get it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many programs that did you see there's talk of like changes to I believe it's who insures the banks? Like there's a program where the banks insure themselves and it's guaranteed up to
FDIC.
250 FDIC. Yeah, I think they're gonna like deregulate that. And I'm just kind of like, hey man, like we instituted these things because when there were bank runs in the past, like people lost everything in
Yep.
the Great Depression. This is why we have that. So that way that doesn't happen again because the economy needs trust. We need trust to be able to trade. Period. The end of
Exactly.
story. Even if it's person to person, community to community, a lot of us use credit. Like credit is just a promise to pay. That's all it is.
Hmm.
And as soon like we are breaking so many promises, we're just fundamentally volatile and untrustworthy. I mean, at some point, I don't know, soon. I just feel like this is this is like the big breath before like you jump in the pool. Like something's gonna fall off.
Yep.
I'm a little
Shit's about
nervous
to get
about it.
bad. Me too.
I once again hope against hope that this doesn't happen. But with the way things are going and the incompetency that we have at every level of government, I think that we're gonna see a massive health disaster in this country. I think we're going to see a massive, I think that there's a chance that a foreign country or organization does something to the American public. And I also think we're going to have a massive recession and economic collapse in this country because capitalism, the way that the United States have it, can only work if there's regulations to keep these people in check. These people have never once thought to be beneficial to the American public. And anybody that defends billionaires, as a finance major, an econ major, if you defend a billionaire, you need to go out and touch some grass and realize that you're probably never going to get there if you worship them like this.
Exactly. You need to hop off their dicks.
Exactly.
I mean, American. That's just the problem too, just as a whole. I mean, I think Conrad, you mentioned this earlier. Just individualism is really what kills this country, and individualism is a phenomenal thing. Be yourself, be who you are. But we need to be able to come together as a group to see this is bad. This is bad for us as a group. This is gonna, or even just market it as this is gonna hurt my own individualism if we don't help each other. I mean, what's the old saying? Like, you're only as strong as your weakest link, right? That's where we are right now. And our weakest link is really fucking weak. But these billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they're going to keep, funneling money to themselves, and then they're going to try to ignore us until they can.
I just feel like tech is there isn't like no, please correct me if I'm wrong, being finance and econ, like the VIX index, isn't that rising? Like, and that's a measure of volatility in the market. That's gone up like a lot. And also there's like this thing, I guess, called the Buffett index, where it's like a measure of GDP versus all the investments out there. And our GDP is half of like the investments. We're just so over leveraged. And like there is definitely some sort of bubble out there, most likely with tech companies, because I'm like, what do they produce? Like, what good or service do they give the people? Besides, I mean, honestly, over the past like 4 or 5 years, divisiveness. I mean, I'm really, really nervous about the economy. And the sad part of it is like the boomers, Gen X, like if they lose everything, like that's it. They don't have time to recover.
Oh,
Like we may actually be okay being younger, where we
mhm.
could emerge from this recession if we still have like gainful employment, we can kind of buy low. But I don't think like Gen X or the boomers are going to have that time to recoup like their savings and their retirements.
I think you're right. I mean, just they're not going to be able to. You're right. They don't have that time. I mean, it's so sad to think about, but just if the market does bottom out, and they're trying to cut Social Security now too. Just how many older people are just going to die? They're going to go back to the poorhouse. They're going to go back to their their kids even. Their kids can barely afford to live on their own. How can they afford to take care of their parents? It's sad. The economy is right now just not working. I don't know.
It'll be really interesting. I think a lot of inflation measures come out March 12th. And I
Mhm.
know the CPI increased by, I think it was 0.5% to 3%. And so when those come out the 12th, it will be very, very interesting to see where it's going because I think a few weeks back we mentioned that the average American consumer is very, very price conscientious right now.
Yep.
And like shit's going up.
yeah.
my grocery bill is larger than it was a year ago. And like it's really interesting. We're getting our raises this week. We're gonna learn what they are. And the average raise is gonna be 3.5%. And all I'm thinking in the back of my head is I may be actually worse off than I was last year because if the CPI is like 3.5, 4% and just continues to climb because of all these tariffs, the volatility, all this bullshit, um, it's going to be extremely frustrating.
Hmm.
Like,
And it
oh,
sucks.
sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, but it's just people are gonna have to do more jobs. People are gonna have to get creative with how they save their money. I think there's a chance that a whole generation of kids can't afford to go to college, like because the costs are gonna keep going up and up and up because you're taking away all the protections, and the benefit to the American public is gonna get so bad. But I'd like us to get off of our doom scrolling just a little bit because there are some really cool signs of the resistance that are also happening that I think we need to shout out.
Please.
Town halls everywhere last week absolutely bullied their Republican congressman.
Mm,
Phenomenal job to everybody involved with that. That was awesome to watch. Just little things just to improve people's moods. The video of Trump worshiping Elon's feet, that was funny as hell.
That was a good
Like,
yes.
video. That was
golly,
a
that
really
was
good
so
video.
funny. And then I don't know if you guys have seen, but there's a guy that's literally going city by city with like a piñata of Donald Trump and giving people an American flag to destroy it with. And they did that in front of the White House.
Oh, let's
Yeah,
go.
that's good. And just stuff like that. You need stuff like that just to keep your spirits up. I mean, it's so depressing right now, but you gotta just keep the faith, right?
I'm not gonna lie. I think maybe one of the happiest people in this country right now might be Kamala Harris because no one hates you. Everybody will know that you were right in the end, and you can go to Laker games and Broadway shows, and you're not pressed about all of this bullshit anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see her speech at I think it was NAACP Awards?
I didn't watch the full thing. I saw a couple of quotes, but I haven't watched the full thing.
It was good. It was really, really good. But I agree with you. Thank you for getting us off the doom zoom.
For
But
real.
it is people are mobilizing. People are mobilizing. That's a good thing. They're not taking this sitting down. I think it's a very delicate balance of an increase maybe in authoritarian like policies or policies that no one likes, and then the public's responding appropriately, not like going over the top quite yet. Um, but it's nice. There is a lot of informal organization. We, the people are doing this. I don't want to say in spite of the Dems, but in spite of the Dems. The people
Exactly.
are taking ownership of this, and
You're
that's what they
absolutely
need
right.
to do. That's what they need to do. They're like, fine, like you guys won't do it. We don't want to see Chucky Schumer. We don't want to see Hakeem Jeffries. Like, that's fine. We'll take it over. And I think
Exactly.
that's probably some of the most American things I've seen in a while.
100%.
Yeah.
It's been super cool. And me and Oliver talked about this, but it kind of, especially the town halls, kind of have a Tea Party feel to them.
They do. They do.
And I think, Oliver, you made me read American Carnage, so I haven't finished it. I don't think I can work in this field right now and read about it.
I respect it.
So that book is on pause. I will finish it at some point. But it just gave a phenomenal insight into the rise of the Tea Party, which led to the rise of Trump. But I think this could be this is our time to have a grassroots movement and really change America. And once again, it's a fucking shame that 80 something year old Bernie Sanders, who will forever be my guy, I love him, but it's a shame that he's the only one that's going out and doing stuff. He went to Iowa,
Exactly.
he went to Nebraska, he's about to go to Wisconsin. Like, there's no way that he's the only guy that we have that's getting the word out to so many people actually on the ground with them instead of in Washington or on MSNBC.
It's a shame. It really is just a shame that no one in the Democratic Party is doing anything about this. I mean, just so many senators can just go to your hometown, go to your state, just talk to the people, see what they're frustrated about, do a town hall. I just don't get it myself. I mean, and I we need, as Noah said, yeah, just a tea party of our own. The people need to be pissed. We need to get them out in the streets, and we need to show that we are pissed and we don't like what's going on. We do not like that Elon Musk is trying to steal our government away. We don't like that he's trying to cut programs that we need. We don't like that shit, and we need people to know that we don't like that shit.
100%. I'm just spitballing and pitching something, but what would happen if like a funded grassroots movement from every state capital, they made their way day by day to Washington, all got there on the same day. So, we have like Alaska, Hawaii, because I'm sure they're mad too. But we have it
Hmm.
starting there and like moving in, converging on Washington day by day, and we can fund it and broadcast it so that you can cover hotel rooms and travel costs and stuff like that. And you just have a march on Washington with all 50 states combined, kind of reinvent, the Revolutionary War caricature of the separated snake with all the colonies. I think
Exactly.
that needs to be the United States of America right now. Everybody join together. I know we're doing like the 50 protests on 50 state capitals, and that was really successful, but we got to think bigger.
We need and we need this is our time to have a political revolution. It's not today, it's not I mean shit, it's not tomorrow, it's not any of these days. We need to have it today. I mean, this political revolution needs to start. We need to make sure people understand that if you want your rights, you can't ask for them, you need to take them, pretty much. And unfortunately, that's what Trump and Elon did, but we're not billionaires, so but we got a lot more of us, right? I mean, we need to
Because,
keep
oh,
fighting.
I'm sorry, Connor, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say there's gonna perhaps come a point where there is no choice and you just have to go. Like I talked to Suze a bit about it where it's just like, hey, like if it comes down to it and we need to like have some sort of what is it, a protest at the Maidan with
Mhm.
Ukraine and we just need to like stay in DC for a few months and just I don't like be present, be physically there, like that may be something we have to do as a people to exert
Like,
that pressure.
the park outside of the White House? I forget what it's called, but the one across the street.
Yeah,
What if you just had an encampment outside of the Oval Office and you forced his hand because we know what he's going to do? He's going to try to stick the National Guard or military on them.
yep,
And even if he does it, you have those images with the people resisting and the little tyrant in the White House sending the military after them. And that image and that movement could spark a international protest, the likes of which haven't been seen once again in 249 years.
exactly. And it's ironic too that the government this is sort of a bit of a libertarian take too. I mean, the government is treading all over itself and therefore treading all over us. They're taking away our own freedoms by cutting off their own legs. I mean, a lot of people rely on these social benefits, and that's treading on our own freedoms. It's hilarious. Now I can't have Medicaid, so I have to go pay an extra few $1,000s to get some shitty fucking Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. And I'm just using them as an example, but you're you're stomping on our own freedoms to cut your own legs off. I don't get it.
I think the last time someone declared themselves king of this country, we let him know what was up.
Yep.
I think we got to do the same thing without the violence, internet, but there are other ways to do it. And
Hmm.
I think, especially when you're dealing with an oligarchy, hit them where it hurts the hardest. Don't give them money. And it's already
Yep.
happening with Tesla. Make it happen with everything. If you pay for Starlink internet, get rid of it, find a better option. There's one out there. If you're thinking about buying a Tesla, buy a Rivian instead. They look so much cooler and they're better cars. Or buy any other American-made vehicle. Don't use
Buy a Ford.
Amazon. Exactly. Don't use
Yeah.
Amazon. Buy directly off the site of which the product it is that you're ordering. Right? Everything has its own website to order now. I ordered 6 Girl Scout cookies and used Venmo to pay for them yesterday. And hopefully they're here in like a week, which is sick to think about.
Man, I
Yeah,
wish.
that's happening. I mean, people are 100% on board with that. I know at work, with a lot of like-minded people, um, like the Amazon subscription's canceled. Like Prime's done in July for our household. Like we were already in the year and we're just like, nah, we're not renewing it. And it's just, yeah, we're not going to give money to businesses who are actively doing things that are against our self-interest.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And you shouldn't.
it's it's wild that that's what we've come to. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the people do. I am really encouraged by it. I'm encouraged by especially how many younger people are getting involved in this now. And I think over time, if we organize together, we work together, we're gonna figure it out.
It's
But
we got to keep fighting.
Well,
exactly.
another thing that's really, really cool is to see all these little independent media like just pop up. Just
Yep.
people who have not said anything, who have just exploded in their content creation, who are just laying things out very matter of fact in easily digestible ways to understand. And, I think it's going to be very, very hard. They're going to try and control the narrative, and I think there's going to be such a dissemination of the narrative that they're never going to be able to control it all.
Nope.
They're never going to be able to control it all.
Listen, in
100%.
general, they'll never be able to control you or your actions. You have free will at the end of the day, and you need to use that free will to go against them. Just fight against it, and I don't know. It's a lot of stuff. It's a scary time.
It is, but like we talked about, there's encouraging stuff happening every day, and we're gonna get our country back from these dipshits.
We are. Amen.
Absolutely. I don't know. I think a little bit about Mr. Rogers, where it's just like, hey, in times of distress or in worry, you look for the helpers. And right now they're everywhere around. You don't have to look very far.
Like,
The population isn't lying down. Um, Content creators aren't lying down. Reporters aren't
no,
lying down. They're
it
they're
was.
pressing.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Connor, but it was so cool. I was in Madison for the entire weekend, like Friday night to Sunday.
Hmm.
I did not spend money at any business that wasn't explicitly liberal and inclusive and just fun. And they were all phenomenal businesses. I didn't seek them out on purpose. I just walked in because the stores looked cool. And it was awesome. Like, bookstores, restaurants, bars, literally everything. And, these people are showing their support for the communities around us that struggle the most with oppression. And it's just so cool to see.
It is. It really is cool.
But before we all jump out of here, like, what are we looking forward to this week, whether it's, sports or anything like that?
Ooh, I like this. I have an interview tomorrow. Hopefully I join Noah up in Wisconsin. If I
Let's
don't, well, I have
go.
another interview next week. Uh, we just got to keep the good fight up. We got to make sure that we put pressure on Trump any way we can. And that's what I'm looking forward to, at least.
Yeah, I'm gonna find out about my raise in a few days, so just looking forward to that. It may not be that great,
Hey,
but it's a little more money in the bank for us. Um, past 2 weeks we had company, Noah 2 weeks ago, and we had some friends over. So, this weekend it's just gonna be me and Suze, and it'll be a nice quiet week. So just looking for some cute time with the wife.
That's fun.
Hey, let's go. That's awesome. For me, I'm very excited for Luka Doncic playing the Mavs right now. As I ordered my Culvers, it's on its way. I'm gonna have cheese curds and a strawberry milkshake while watching Luka cook the Mavs. So super excited for that.
Well, Noah, you better be excited. You guys are up 9-2 currently.
Let's go. Okay, sick.
Nice,
All right.
man.
Sick. I'm about to go watch that. But thank you guys for watching another episode of the Arena. Be sure to let us know what you thought in the comments. And remember to like and subscribe. Peace.